Every single product has a life story. Seriously, that app you're scrolling through, the sneakers you wear, the car you drive, they all started as just an idea. They grow, they mature, and then eventually they retire. So today, we're going to break down that entire journey, the product life cycle. Okay, so to really get a handle on this life cycle, we have to start with a really crucial difference in how you think about your work. It all boils down to one simple question. Are you building a project or are you building a product? Now, they might sound like the same thing, but trust me, the difference in mindset is absolutely massive and it changes everything. So on one side, you've got project thinking. This is such a common trap to fall into, right? Success is just a checklist. Did we ship it on time? Did we deliver all the features we promised? It's all about outputs. But then, on the other side, you have product thinking. And this is a total game changer. With this mindset, you are obsessed with delivering real value, creating meaningful outcomes for your users, and actually measuring your impact on the world. Look, it is just not enough to build something. The real goal, the only thing that matters, is to solve a customer's problem in a way that creates a real, measurable, positive result. And that shift in focus from just shipping features to actually moving the needle on key metrics, that is the secret to building things people truly want and need. So if we're all on board with that product mindset, what does the journey actually look like? Well, lucky for us, there's a map for that. It's a life cycle with 6 distinct stages that can guide pretty much any product from a simple idea to a powerhouse in the market. And here it is, the entire journey at a glance. It kicks off with discovery, then moves to validation, then you build, followed by growth, then maturity, and finally, the inevitable decline or sunset. Now, each one of these stages has its own unique goals, its own challenges, and it's going to require a totally different strategy to succeed. So let's break them down. First up is discovery. Think of this as the spark phase. It's driven by pure curiosity and empathy. You are not writing a single line of code yet. Nope. Instead, you're out in the real world, you're observing, you're interviewing people, and you're digging deep to find a genuine, painful problem that's actually worth solving. Next up is validation. This is where you really put your big assumptions to the test. You have to get from I think people want this to I know they do. And you do that by gathering real data and real feedback. Once you have that proof, and only then, you can confidently move into the build stage where you start developing the first real scalable version of your product. All right, so once you have a validated product that people actually love, it is time to hit the accelerator. This is the growth phase. Your entire focus just shifts to scaling, getting your product into the hands of more and more users, keeping them engaged, and building a sustainable business around it. Now, eventually, that crazy growth starts to level off, and that's when the product enters maturity, where the whole game changes from acquisition to retention and optimization. And finally, every single product, no matter how successful, faces the decline stage. Why? Well, markets change, technology evolves, user needs shift. It's just inevitable. The key here isn't to fight it, it's to make a strategic, clear-eyed decision about when it's time to retire a product so you can free up those precious resources for the next big thing. So we know the stages, but how do you actually navigate them without getting completely lost? I mean, you can't just guess your way through this. You need a compass. And in the world of product, that compass is always, always data. This right here is probably the single most important question a product leader can ask. How do we know it's working? The answer is what separates real data-informed leadership from just wishful thinking. You need clear signals, not just a gut feeling. And this is a product manager's superpower, knowing which metrics to track, the product's vital signs, at each stage. See, in validation, you're watching things like early conversion and retention to see if the core idea even has legs. Then, in growth, you're obsessed with daily and monthly active users to see how fast you're scaling. And by the time you hit maturity, it's all about profitability. You're comparing customer lifetime value, or LTV, against your customer acquisition cost, or CAC. But what happens when those metrics start telling you something is wrong? Sometimes you hit a crossroads where one single really tough decision can change your product's entire future. Instead of panicking, the best teams use a framework. A pivot shouldn't be some emotional reaction. It has to be an intelligent strategic move. You have to ask these hard questions. Has the world changed around us? Are we absolutely sure we're focused on the right problem? And critically, can we take everything we've already built, our tech, our team, our audience, and just point it in a new, more promising direction?
If you want a legendary example of this, just look at Slack. It was never supposed to be the communication tool we all use today. It was actually an internal chat tool built for a video game company. And when they realized the game was failing, they also realized that the tool they built to talk to each other was incredibly valuable on its own. Now, that is a pivot that literally changed tech history. Now, this whole life cycle framework, it's not some static, dusty old map. It's constantly being reshaped and sped up by new technology. So let's take a look at how AI, in particular, is changing this entire journey right now. AI is very quickly becoming an indispensable co-pilot for product managers. I mean, you can use it to analyze thousands of customer reviews to find problems during discovery. You can simulate A/B tests to validate ideas faster than ever before. You can predict which users are likely to leave during growth. And you can automate all that tedious reporting during maturity. It's like an accelerant for learning at every single step. And this brings us to a really powerful final idea. Products come and go. Even the most beloved ones eventually get retired. But the insights you gain along the way, that deep understanding of your customer and the whole process of building and learning, that stuff is permanent. That's the real prize. So think about this life cycle not just as some business framework, but as a story about problems and solutions, about growth and change. And the only question left to ask is, what story will your product tell?